Yes, everyone, how's it going? How are we all doing? Welcome to All United Uncut. I think Hammer's just won the bet for how quickly my my internet will lag through this intro at about 5 seconds. So well done, Hammer, in the background. And yes, he's on the show today. Got a big show ahead of us. We're talking that game yesterday. United going to Spurs, beating them 3-0. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lives to see another week, it looks like. Whether that means anything in terms of his job security, that's part of the discussion today. So make sure to get in the comments, let us know, leave a like as well. And as always, I'll see you on the other end of this.
Click subscribe to get daily Manchester United content from Passionate Reds, only on All for United.
Yes, you absolute psychopaths. Welcome back to All for United Uncut. How are we all doing? I've got a decent lineup here today, I think. I've got Stu, he's all right. I've got Hammer, and Jamie's actually answered my text this week, so he's here.
Deal.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What are we all drinking?
Back to your favourite wine glass, dude. I've actually got an organic Sicilian tonight. Organic Sicilian white.
Oh, Sicilian. Okay.
Yeah, we're trying white. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. The way I'm feeling,
Hammer, what substances are you
on? I don't drink a lot, so I just grabbed something that I was familiar with. But I didn't remember how weak it was.
Stella.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a bit stronger in the UK.
I smoked a joint. I smoked a joint, picked up the 6-pack, then smoked a bowl on the way back from the liquor store.
Yeah,
so,
I've got a question for you, Amit. Why is Stella weaker in the States than it is in the UK?
What is it in the UK?
It's
if you know off the top of your head.
I don't actually, because I don't drink lager. Did you know, Jamie? But I know it's weaker in America, isn't it?
Nah, I don't drink Stella. I've not drunk Stella since I was about 16.
All right, relax. This is why I don't drink beer. That's why. So I wasn't gonna start drinking some fucking rum or some shit on the show. Then they'll just get out of hand. So,
but hang on a minute. What show do you think this is?
Yeah, but like me and rum is just. I'm from Trinidad.
Hammer. James might join us from a pub.
Yeah. Being from Trinidad, then rum's like drinking water, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'll drink a lot of it. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like water, isn't it? Yeah.
The more the better. Speaking of drinking, Jamie, apparently you're a lightweight. That's what I've heard.
Oh shit.
Like I said, man, I'd rather drink bleach at the minute, the way I feel.
Don't say that.
Friday was a
trigger
rough
warning.
Night. Last night was a rough night. And today's just been one of those days where I've just sat and felt sorry for myself in front of the TV. And how the fuck was Super Sunday? Fucking Leeds, Norwich, Villa.
I know. Bollocks, isn't
it? Super about that.
Don't know. Although West Ham are looking decent.
Was scary Sunday, hey? It was scary Sunday.
Oh fuck yeah! Now get it. Was your internet going to lag in a minute? Please.
By the way,
after that comment, I'm gonna have to get a drink
because I work for a gaming and sports betting company, so I figured I should probably get it right.
Right.
Lokesh, welcome to All for United Uncut. This is a drink review show.
I'll say this. I don't know if anybody does like rum, but the best rum is from Trinidad called White Oak Rum, and it's just I've tried a lot of rum. There's nothing better than that.
Do you know? I don't like rum, and I think it's because of sweets. Believe it or not, rum sweets that you get in the UK. Yeah. I just didn't. Back it probably before your time, Karthik.
Jarvis says, I've been drinking 3 shots of Romanian moonshine on a Halloween party at my neighbour's.
Well, shit.
All right. Then.
I don't even know what that is. I know what moonshine is. I don't know what Romanian moonshine is.
Right then.
Do you make that with potatoes, do you reckon, as well? Because you make moonshine with potatoes, don't you?
Hey, moonshine's fun. I was down in the south for a little while. Get some oof.
I mean...
Well, we got family in Missouri, and they do their own moonshine down there. So whenever we go over, I mean, it's clear. It's like
real nice.
It's clear, but Jesus, fuck me, is it strong?
So I guess it makes sense, right? Like when they mix it with flavors, it's not as strong. But if you get that clear,
They do it clear. Yeah, he does it clear. He's got those old basket things that they put like kind of glass containers in, and he kind of pours it old school style. Fuck, honestly, it's fucking paint stripper. It really is. It's.
I'll say this: my worst. Oh, there he goes.
Talk about this
because he lagged. Oh yeah, I'll mention this. One of my worst, not worst, because it was great for me, but it was bad for everybody else who wanted to try it. I was broke, obviously, in college. And it was like a day party thing, so it was going on from like 10 o'clock in the morning till night. So I was like, all right, I got to get something to last me all day, but that was cheap. So I bought 2 Four Locos and a small thing of clear moonshine, 100 proof, because it was $20, but it was for a. So I got a 2 liter, like one of the big empty soda bottles, both Four Locos, 7 shots of clear moonshine. And then I bought a whole thing of the Mio fruit punch flavoring thing for like water. There's a whole thing of that just so I could actually drink it. And I just drank that all day. It did the job. It did what it needed to do.
I bet it did. We don't have that fruit punch in the UK.
Oh, shit.
We don't have any of that stuff. I don't know what we have. I don't know what the equivalent would be in the UK.
It's just like a water flavoring thing. It's like, I don't know what you probably have something, but I don't know.
Well, fucking flavored Evian then. That'll do.
What happened?
I can't believe we've gone 7-8 minutes into a show just talking about alcohol and other stuff. Let's steer it back. This is a football show. If anyone's new to this show, we usually start with a bit of actual football talk. So we will get into it. The title, of course, today is I don't actually know what the title is. The Great Escape. Yeah. My question to you guys, obviously, we went and won 3-0 last night. Is this the start of a turnaround potentially? Let's start there, and we'll dive in a little bit more. Stu, what do you reckon?
Look, I was buzzing, and everybody knows my stance on this. I've called for stability for a while now. However, I did change my tune on Sunday. As everyone knows, I wasn't happy Sunday by the performance, but whatever they worked on in training, whatever was said, they came together as a team. Now, people could argue, and I wouldn't disagree, that it was a poor Spurs side that turned up. In fact, Tottenham reminded me of how we played against Liverpool. Disjointed, that type of thing, didn't really want to know. Harry Kane's obviously sulking still. He didn't get his move to City. But, if the rumours were true and he got 3 games to save his job, the performance wasn't really important yesterday, but the result was. And I've seen mixed reviews actually in and around. People have talked about certain stuff about, he's still not right for the job, etc., etc., etc. But if he wins these, or actually, let me rephrase it. If we go on a 15-match winning run, which we did last season, where are people going to side? What are they going to do? Now, I did say a week or 2 ago, and I was having a discussion with Abdul, and I said that I'd like to see Ronaldo and Cavani start, but in our favoured 3, because at that time he wasn't looking to change. He wasn't even a 3-5-2, wasn't even on the card. So I said to play Ronaldo and Rashford as floating players behind Cavani, because it wouldn't have mattered so much, because Cavani will still do the chasing, etc. And Rashford will have to it. Ronaldo didn't have to. But it was a brave move to put them side by side. Would it work all the time? Look, I haven't got a crystal ball. Nobody knows. Would it work against City? Who knows? But we got a result. We scored 3 very, very good goals. And Ronaldo's second goal, which was adjudged offside, he'll be kicking himself for that. I can't believe
it's a good finish as well.
It was a brilliant finish. I can't believe he moved. He moves so quickly, to be fair.
He doesn't usually do that, to be fair.
He watches the line perfect, doesn't he? But he was on his toes, and he dispatched it brilliantly. But I'm not going to say it's paper over the cracks, because I don't buy into that. I also don't buy into the fact where someone will say, "Oh, Ronaldo saved Ollie's job again." Doesn't kind of do it for me either, because it's a team sport, and whatever
Ollie
happens,
saved his own job.
Of course he did. Somebody's got to pass the ball to somebody to stick the ball in the back of the net. That's how it works. That's how football works. So I don't buy that. So, look, I'm still buzzing, actually. And I'm looking forward to Tuesday night a lot more now, because don't forget, Atalanta don't play well at home. They're very, very good away, but they're not brilliant at home. So, yeah, that's my take on it anyway.
Correction. I think it's Tuesday. I thought we were playing on Wednesday. I was looking at the end.
No, we play Tuesday. Yeah, I'm sure it's Tuesday, isn't it, lads?
Yeah, it is. I just checked. I thought I might miss the game because I was at training, but I'm at work, so I'll be able to watch it. No, just on the result thing. I think you're right. There have been mixed reviews, and I think most of it's because of the way that we set up. Now, there was a lot of talk in the post-match with Gary Neville and Roy Keane about whether this United team are a counter-attacking side and whether we should just be that. And I thought, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of fans around... I'll keep talking because it will catch up. A lot of fans reacted in a certain way as if a counter-attacking style of play is some sort of disgusting thing that just isn't a thing. But if that's what the squad's capable of, surely that's what we have to do. I don't know your guys. I'll throw it to the panel. Are you guys even bothered?
Yeah, can I just touch on one thing as well? Because, I've not been I wasn't a huge supporter of Varane, as again, you guys know. And he's made a few mistakes, but you're going to. But I thought he was magnificent on yesterday. I thought his calmness, and I really started to see it properly. I thought his calmness brought a lot, the best out of Lindelof. And Maguire looked like he was coming back to some kind of form. I thought Wan-Bissaka was great. I'm still not so sure about Shaw. I don't know what you guys think.
I'm not either. I think he's been proper dodgy the last few weeks.
No.
And people might think, here's Karthik again going after Luke Shaw.
No, I will say if we're going to stick with this 3-5-2 for the rest of the season, whether it always stays or Conte comes in, because he'll probably do something similar, Tellez is probably the better option rather than Shaw, right? We'll have the protection with Varane, Bailly, Jesus Christ, with Varane, Maguire, and Lindelof back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll have the defensive protection so we can afford to play Tellez, and Tellez whipping in balls into the box for Ronaldo, Cavani, Rashford. Honestly, I mean, I was on the post game last night, so I will say in terms of the Ole thing, I did say at one point that I'm part of a group of people who probably believe that no matter what happens in these next few games, when we go to international break, Ole's gone. Even if we win them all out and we win against City and however way, I still think they're going to take him off during the international break.
That's fair enough. Even if that did happen, it at least shows we're making a decision. Jamie, on that 3-5-2 discussion, I think you and I had a quick little exchange yesterday on Twitter over it, and you made the point about Sancho, and I think that's a really important question because, look, the 3-5-2 might go and get us a few wins and might get us in a streak, but we just signed Sancho for 70+ million quid. What do we do with him? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so for me, and again, I made the point on Twitter, is I think the 3-5-2 works in the way that we don't really have the defensive rigidity of a number 6 protecting the back 4. So that's why it's necessary, because it allows McFred to operate as the pivot, and it allows us that extra protection for the wing backs to push. It effectively allows us to, I think, soak up a bit more pressure. And I think we were lucky yesterday that Tottenham just were so off the pace. One thing I will say is I was very impressed that it was the first time that I've seen a heat map after a game of average positions, both attacking and defending, where I wasn't embarrassed by our defensive position. Everyone seemed to know their job. Everyone stuck to it. So I think playing a 3-5-2 until we get a competent 6 is probably the way that we'll go forward. Again, I struggle to see how we accommodate, because I mean, if we play Sancho and Rashford as wing backs, we're going back to the days of when Van Gaal signed Di Maria just to play him at right wing back. So for me, I'd still like to see us go back to 4-3-3 at some point when we have somebody that can screen the ball and can slot in as and operate as a third centre half if we need to in transition. I don't think it's a long term formation that's going to suit us, because again, all it's going to do is alienate Jadon Sancho. It means that we have even less space to fit in Greenwood, Rashford, Sancho, which again should have been the front 3 project. But I think there's a lot of pressure on Ole at the minute, so he'll do what he can to get the results. I think if time's going to tell, I want to be optimistic. I'm with Hammer on this, to be fair. as much as I love Ole and I love the job that he's done, and I think he is a legend. I think it is time. However, what I want to see is I want to see him go out on a bit of a high. I didn't want to. I know I was probably a bit reactionary on Twitter and stuff. I had a few beers in the pub after Liverpool. I didn't want to see him get sacked immediately in the aftermath of Liverpool, because that's no way for somebody who loves the club to go. It would have been embarrassing, and I think it would have erased what I do think is the best managerial job that we've had since Fergie left. So I know I've just digressed a bit from the 3-5-2 question here, but I think it allows us to operate in a more rigid way. I think Fred and McTominay looked better yesterday than I'd seen them look in months. I'm not, and that's not necessarily massive praise, because it's hard to look worse than they have done at times. I was impressed by Bruno. I think Bruno was magnificent again yesterday. His assist was just ridiculous, and I don't think we talk about the things that Bruno does well. Don't get talked about enough, because he's that good, and that it just becomes such a part of his game. And elite players are always plagued with that. De Bruyne makes ridiculous line splitting passes, and people don't really mention it that often because it's Kevin De Bruyne. We look at what Ronaldo does, Messi does week in, week out. Well, maybe not Messi at the minute in League One, but that's another one. So yeah, I think the 3-5-2 will serve a purpose for now. It'll be interesting to see how the players react, and it'll be interesting to see whether Donny does get a sniff at any point.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think in that formation he would sniff for. That's not answer that question. Just before, I know how many you're waiting to make a point. I'll just read a couple of comments first. Bainsy's in the comments. He says, people are overreacting with those. What do we do with Rashford, Sancho, Greenwood? I think we will play this three at the back until the pressure calms down. He will revert back to 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 later on. And I think potentially that could be the way to go. And I wouldn't blame him for doing that, assuming he does stay in the job. Just
we're pulling Bainsy's comment up as well. I'm not just drinking orange juice. Obviously, I didn't plan to drink tonight, and I'm in a student house, so I put together what I could. So I'm drinking vodka, squash, and water.
Right. Keen's in the comments with a very good comment, actually. With 3-5-2, is this now the time to finally see what we all want, which is Phil Jones in the 6? Of course it is. Jamie's out here saying that we need a comment on the 6. We've got one in the team.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
See, look what it did.
So just tweet off United, hashtag Phil Jones in the 6, and we'll get there. Just go with it. That's the competent number 6.
Who made that graphic?
Anyway,
Who made that
James.
I thought it would be right.
Jimmy.
Sacking.
No, if anything, he needs a pay rise. He did it in about 2 hours. Anyway, go on, Hammer. You want to make a point on 3-5-2?
Yeah. I'll make a quick comment too. One in terms of just because it's uncut, and I'll just divert slightly back into liquor. I hate vodka.
What?
Vodka is fucking terrible. No offense. I know people like vodka, but God, maybe I had some bad experiences. Maybe if I got to think back into college, but I can funnel Jaeger, but I hate vodka. All right. Yeah. Back to the topic of football. The 3-5-2. I think the way I've been thinking about the whole Sancho thing is that I think Sancho's going to be the only one to kind of get left out, right? I think Rashford can play up top. He did it earlier in his career when he was first getting into the team. Greenwood, we all want to see him. Whoever, I'm not going to try to disrespectfully say your name, but white rum is better than vodka. I'm not going to be fucked up and try to say that name. But and then I think, of course, Greenwood, right? Everybody likes to talk about we want to see him get more reps playing as more of a striker. So I think Ronaldo, Cavani, Rashford, and Greenwood can rotate as the 2 up top. Sancho is going to be the one who gets left out. But I think that's a bullet that we're going to have to bite, essentially, if you want to put it that way, for this season to get something out of this season. Because I do think at some point in the next 2-3 windows, hopefully the next 2, so either the winter or at the end of the season, we are going to get some type of number 6 to actually play how we want to play and play the wingers and play Sancho and everything that we want to do. But I think for this season, Sancho is going to be the one that ends up getting left out if we continue on this path of the 3-5-2.
So I just want to make a point, Sancho actually, because
Stu, before you jump in, just on the Sancho thing.
Yeah, sure.
I can't find the comment now. Where is it? Jarvis, yeah, there we go. I don't care about Sancho as long as we play like that and win.
Well, damn,
to be fair, suddenly everyone is worried about Sancho, wants Conte to be managed. That's all well and good, but unfortunately, we paid over £70 million for him, so we kind of have to be worried about him, because otherwise you're going to get critics. You saw how it is for Donny van der Beek, and we paid about half of what we paid for Sancho for him.
We also chased him for 2 years. You know what I mean?
So
like, we publicly caught
you
him.
have to find a way to get him into this, and I think the only... Sorry?
What does Simon leave?
Is your internet router a fucking potato, Karthik?
Yes, it is. Anyway, no, what I was going to try and say is the only way Sancho gets in the team is in the 10. Because he can pick up them half spaces and he can play with freedom. And I think he'd do that. But the only issue is Bruno. That's the only issue. But go on, Stu, you can carry on.
I think the bigger picture here is, and we talk about on this channel. You are sorry?
No, take that. Don't put that on the screen.
We talk about a lot about elite players, don't we? And people perceive players to be world class, etc. And I've always made a point that players should have the ability to play anywhere on the park at a competent level. What yesterday showed us all, and showed Ollie, if he didn't know, which he should have known already, is that we can now play 2 or 3 different ways. So we've actually overnight become quite a dangerous outfit, because nobody now will understand and realise how we're going to set up.
I don't think we do.
Well, but what we've proven is you can set up it as a 3-5-2 if you wish. We've got the personnel to play a 4-3-3 and the personnel to play Ollie's favourite 4-2-3-1. So all I'm saying is that whether he's done it as an exercise where he's done it to make sure he gets a result out of the game, I don't know. But it has actually taught him, and it's taught the fans, that we have this flexibility about us now to become quite dangerous, or more rounded opposition. Now, whether he uses it and utilises it, I don't know. But actually, this comes back to getting other players game time. There are games where a 3-5-2 just won't suit, and he will have to go to a 4-3-3, or will have to go to a 4-2-3-1. And this is where those players will get their game time. The only player that's not likely to get his game time is Donny, bless him, because he doesn't seem to fit anywhere. For whatever reason,
I think Donny could get into the 3-5-2.
I personally think he could play in a 3-5-2 anyway. There's one big sticking point for this, and there's one massive red herring, and that is what he does with Pogba now when he comes back in 2 matches' time, or does he play him against Atalanta? Because quite frankly. And we all know Pogba on his day is up there with the very, very best. There's no denying that. Anyone knows anything about football knows that. But
people look stupid.
Yeah, but as a team right now, currently, when you actually require that 100% kind of effect from your players, does he fit with us right now? It's a bit of a controversial thing to say, but.
No, I'll say he does. I'll say he'll fit. So and I was on the post game last night too. So I talked a little bit about some of the things we're talking about. But I feel that because of the defense behind, if we genuinely stick with Varane, Maguire, and Lindelof as that back 3, I know a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people talked about Maguire and Lindelof because of how similar they were. And they both aren't that necessarily Varane level center back, right? We needed somebody else. If we put Varane with the 2 of them, our defense would be ridiculously solid. And I think, in my opinion, I would say if we did want to fit Pogba in, it would be you essentially tell Fred and McTominay, whichever one of you wants the other spot in the midfield has to be as best defensively as you can, and you put Pogba in next to whoever wins that job. And essentially, and I know they like to go box to box, but you essentially ask them to take the responsibility and say, we need you to be defensive. But then I will say as well, you would turn to Pogba and be like, listen, we do need you to help on defense too, but this would allow you to have your freedom. And I would love to see Pogba spraying it to Bruno, Ronaldo, Cavani, Rashford, Greenwood up top. That would be a beautiful sight to see, in my opinion. So I think he could, but people would have to make sacrifices, essentially.
Mm.
I think that's a really interesting point, and this is something I've been thinking about quite a lot. And I absolutely love Pogba. I think on his day, the guy is absolutely up there with the best of them. He's world class, and he does things that most people. I actually probably think he's our most naturally gifted footballer pound for pound.
You shouldn't be able to do some of the things you can.
Yeah, but my thing is, if we're talking about a best 11 on paper, he absolutely gets into that. But when we talk about an actual balanced match day squad, does he get into that? I keep challenging myself and thinking, I don't know whether he does. If we want to play 3-5-2, now I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, I'm a world-class tactician or anything like that. I understand football, but I'm not going to lie and say that, you know, I'm a UEFA standard coach. But playing 3-5-2 only works if you're good in transition, because otherwise you can end up being exposed at the back, or you can end up being banked too deep in your own half and there's no outlet unless you just switch to lucky long balls. And my thing is that if we play it week in, week out, and if we do get Pogba back in, is Pogba going to be disciplined enough to help us in transition? Like, again, the guy does wonderful things with the ball, but we've seen what he's like when he doesn't fancy it for the day. You know, he can be a bit guilty of walking around and jogging, and I think that he might end up hindering us. I think, again, a competent 6 in there, back to a 4-3, because 4-3-3 would be the preferred way that I'd want us to play. With a competent 6, and again, I know the argument's always there, is he overrated? But again, Declan Rice today was absolutely magnificent. And that for me is the caliber of 6 that I know the price, but I mean, the other names that have been banded around, people like Calvin Phillips, like, don't piss me off. But somebody of that ilk, somebody of that caliber, sat behind Pogba and Bruno in a midfield 3, for me, that would work. For now, and I think one of the comments said it as well, is I don't think Pogba gets into our most balanced team. If we're going for team harmony, I mean, there's an argument to say, does Ronaldo get into our most balanced team? But that's something for another day. But yeah, I think it's an interesting debate. I absolutely adore Pogba. I have done since before he left us the first time. I thought he was gifted. But you know, it's an interesting argument.
I'll be so mad if we lose him on a free again. Or whatever.
It's kind of happen.
No, he's gone.
When we're talking about Paul Pogba getting into this team, right? That's a factor we have to consider, the contract thing, because I think United at this point, we're in November, right? So we're about to enter November. From January, he can talk to other clubs. I think United now have to dig their heels in and go, right, you tell us whether you're leaving or not. If you go in, then you can go either in January or you can go for free.
Yeah.
But you're not playing until then. Or if you want to play, then you can play, sign the contracts and play, because at this minute in time, we're having to accommodate you. If you're not going to stay here, we can get by fine without you. Just look at what we did at Spurs. I think United need to take that position now, or just decide themselves whether, right, you're not worth the effort. We're just going to let you go. I don't know whether you guys agree with me on that. Maybe I'm being harsh.
No, I agree. I just don't understand why we're so bad at negotiations with players. Like, how is Daniel James the only player we've made a profit on post Fergie? Like, do you know what I mean?
Is that true?
It's such a damning statistic. We bought Angel Di Maria for 57 million for a British record fee, and then sold him for like 17 million pound less. You know, less than 12 months later. I don't understand what we do in our contract negotiations, or I know obviously we can sit here for hours again and talk about Woodward and stuff like that. But yeah,
it's who's in our contract negotiations.
How was Pogba, a man that we bought for 89 million pound, in a position once again where he could be walking for fucking free?
The problem you got with Pogba is not just his, exactly right. Now, whether he wants 400 grand a week, say, it's not just that. It's the extra 10 million you've got to pay Raiola on top. It's the knobhead at the back. And I think this will be the sticking point. I don't know whether Pogba wants to sign anyway. Nobody really knows whether he wants to stay. I think he'll be gone in the summer on a free. And I think Raiola will want that because he'll make an absolute fucking killing. And it'd be Raiola's last chance to make $25-30 million off it, or euros, whatever it'll be, off of Pogba.
Let's be real. If Pogba wants to sign, he'd have signed by now.
Yeah.
But counterpoint, I was actually quite relieved to see him post on his Instagram about calling all the media outlets out for what he said about Ole.
Yeah, but that's only. That's
outside. That's more than United.
The only thing he was clarifying there was, I'm not doing it because of Ole. I just want to go.
But it was nice to see him actually say something. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're so used to Pogba.
Yeah, but I think
his fucking brother.
Yeah, that's true too.
Always, yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, but I think that's more of this. I feel like there's been players more recently calling out the bullshit stories, which I do like because it puts them in the spotlight. But I think that's more what it was.
Again, it's just one of them. Another point I wanted to touch on, by the way, Jamie, you briefly mentioned Donny van de Beek, and I think you're right. In this system, potentially he could get a sniff, especially if in front of that 3, you can then afford to have him. If the reason that we're leaving Donny van de Beek out of the team is because he's not as good defensively. Well, in this system, he can survive. But what I don't understand is this narrative that's come around to Donny van de Beek in that he's being unfairly treated or whatever, right? Ollie came out and said Cavani started that game because of his training performances, right? He said he put in the best training performance he'd ever seen so far as manager of Manchester United. So, as a manager, under immense pressure, if Donny van de Beek was ripping it up in training, why would he not start him? This is what I don't get. So there's clearly something we're not seeing. Yet fans everywhere seem to go, "Oh, he's being held back."
Because he got his first goal against Ole.
If he was doing well, he'd start him. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I might be being harsh.
Sorry to be a little less serious. You see that joke where it said because Donny scored his first goal for Ajax against Molde when Ole was the manager. That's why.
It's a tricky.
Am I being harsh with that one?
Nah, I don't think so. Because again, we don't see the training stuff. And again, I like Donny. I loved him at Ajax. Thought he was an absolute silky Rolls Royce of a midfielder. But whenever he's started, and again, there's always going to be the argument of, well, players need a run of performances to get their rhythm and stuff like that. Bollocks, man. Rashford's come back from injury and scored 3 goals in 4 appearances. He's got a goal involvement every 46.5 minutes, I think, since he's come back. So we don't need that narrative. I really do rate Donny, and again, I think there's a good player in there. But whenever he's pulled the shirt on for us, I've not been overly impressed. Yes, he scored a consolation goal against Crystal Palace in the opening day of the season last year. Last year. Fuck, where the fuck is the time going? But it's one of those, isn't it? Like,
I don't think Donny's played in our best 11. Personally, I think whenever he's been called for, he's been in the kind of the second string. I think the frustration amongst fans is we all know there's a player in Donny and a really, really good player at that, very, very talented footballer. And I think there is a little bit of wonder as to why he's not getting the opportunities. But look, training's a big part, and if he has kind of down tools at training as well, he's never going to get a look in, is he? He just isn't. Lingard's going to get more of a look in at the minute because Lingard's obviously wanting to make his stand again. Although I believe Lingard will go in January. I think Lingard will move on because he's not getting anywhere near the game time to warrant any kind of inclusion come Qatar next year. And this is where January for once is going to be super, super critical to players' international aspirations or World Cup aspirations. I think you're likely to see the busiest January we've ever seen in the transfer market for players that aren't playing football, because you've got a massive decision. You've got almost you'll have 11 months, won't you, to play your way into your country's World Cup squad if you make it. So there's going to be a lot going on in January, and that might give Ollie an opportunity to go and get the central CDM that we want. For the first time, there might just be this opportunity for us to go and grab somebody that he actually wants. Who that is, we obviously don't know, but it also gives us an opportunity to trim our squad a little bit because we're just a bit overloaded at the minute, and we do need to trim it. But anyone who's got aspirations of making Qatar has got to start kicking on from January onwards. So January is going to be a really critical month for football globally. It'd be really interesting to see what happens. Quite looking forward to January this year. Everybody hates it normally, don't we? Nobody really cares about it, but this time I think it'll be.
Especially with Newcastle having a bit of money, it could get quite interesting as well. Tyrone Williams, I'll address your comment now. Donny's professional. Ollie obviously doesn't rate him. Sancho isn't getting picked either. You're being slightly harsh. Fred and McTominay haven't been tearing it up on the pitch constantly either. No, I agree. That is a good point. However, Fred and McTominay have certain qualities that clearly Ollie wants to see from Donny that he isn't. And now, whether you agree with those qualities or not is secondary. The manager wants something out of him, and he's not seeing it. Now, I don't think Donny has the same engine that Fred and McTominay have. I don't think he has the same tackling ability. I don't think he has the same work rate. But at the minute, he's not getting in ahead of Bruno in the 10. So that's the only other position he can occupy. And if he's not showing what a Fred and McTominay could potentially show, he's not going to get in. It's as simple as that. And you might think I'm being harsh, but that's just the fact of the matter. That's what Ollie expects. That turns into a completely different discussion whether Ollie's right or wrong. But that's just my thought on it. I don't know. Good question here from him again, though. What CDM do we go and get? A lot of people think it's Rice, but I it's one of the.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, that one. I mean, there's some decent ones out, but who's going to be available? I mean, I quite like Brozovic. He would fit our system brilliantly, Brozovic would. He didn't have a great...
I think we've got to go and just chuck whatever at West Ham and go give us Declan Rice now.
Summer. While they're chasing top four, we haven't got a hope. We haven't got a hope of getting anywhere near him while they're chasing top four.
We're behind them.
True.
Yeah, we haven't got a hope. If he wants something in the short term, there are players out there. But if he's looking for long term, i.e., January, the summer, Declan Rice is one of those. He doesn't have to move. He's not got to worry about his England place. He's going to Qatar. Everybody knows it, so he doesn't have to move. It just depends what Ollie wants to do. If he's in the hot seat come January, that is, we don't know, do we? But if he is, if Conte comes in, who knows? I did see Ben's show the other day about Conte. I'm still not convinced Conte's the right guy for us. He'll give us a short-term success, but I don't think there's any longevity in him at all.
If you've missed that show, do go and check it out.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
It's a very good show.
Yeah. Axel Witzel's a good shout. Would you get him out of Dortmund though? That's the thing. We'll never get Verratti out of PSG. He'll sign a contract for life at PSG.
Garner's too young.
I wouldn't.
Not too young. He's not ready yet.
I think for me, Frank Kessie's an option. I think in that Milan side,
you could get Kessie. I think you could get Kessie. Yeah,
sustainable.
He's probably realistic.
Dennis Zakaria at Mönchengladbach again. He's another big, powerful, fast. He's technical, and I really rate him. I also really like. I think he's got a cool name, but that doesn't matter. But for me, we're always in a catch-22 when it comes to these positions, because if we don't go for Rice and we go for a more budget option, it'll always be we should have gone for Rice. If we do go for Rice and we spend 75, 80 million pound on him, then it'll be, why did we go for Rice when there were more affordable options across the continent? If he doesn't kick on straight away and start making an impact, it's what a waste of money. You're a flop. If he comes in and does a really good job and stuff like that, then perfect. But we all know that's not the game. But for me, I mean, again, people keep talking about Calvin Phillips, and don't get me wrong, the guy was brilliant at the Euros, but nah, not for me.
He was left once. He's been left once,
I do like the look of him. I'd love Kessie.
I like Kessie.
I love him.
Indeed, obviously. Yeah, someone whacked Indeed. Yeah.
Indeed, another one where you just can't get him out of Leicester yet.
You'll never grab. Actually, you might grab him, and depending where Leicester finish, you might be able to grab him in the summer. But
that's what I mean.
I think
you can't get him just yet. I think
Rice will be the one.
If we're talking availability,
I think indeed he's a year or two off moving to a bigger club.
I also think that Leicester are the best run club in the league. So you're not getting any of their players out of them for less than they want to charge you.
Yeah. To be fair, what you need to do is whoever you're targeting at Leicester, look at who they've replaced him with and sign that.
Yeah, I tell you what, just buy their scouting department. Like I've never seen a club be able to replace players so effectively. Yeah, granted, obviously, after they won the league and stuff, losing Kante Mahrez is a big blow, but you wouldn't really know that now, would you? Do you know what I mean? We're still trying to sign players to replace people like fucking Paul Scholes. He's not played football for nearly 10 years.
We signed Ronaldo before we replaced Ronaldo.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
So that just shows what we're doing. A lot of good shouts here. Souček, not Souček. I think he's a bit similar to McTominay.
I think Souček is an 8, and everyone's just convinced he's a 6 because he's big.
No, he's an 8.
Yeah, he's similar to McTominay. That's what he is.
Yeah,
because McTominay's playing as a 6.
You got Declan Rice playing alongside him. And there's your difference straight away. So
in the same way that I don't think Yaya Toure was ever really a defensive midfielder at all.
No,
again, just absolute. But people have these ideas that because he was big and powerful.
Look, Vieira
in his day. Vieira was a mixture of the both. Vieira could play a 6. He was one of those. Vieira is one of those anomalies that could actually play a 6 and an 8, and invariably played a 6 and an 8 position during the game. He was absolutely brilliant. And except when he come to Old Trafford, or we went there, he had to play a 6 because of Keane.
Yeah.
He had no choice. But invariably, he would play both positions in a game. He was just on a different planet, Vieira was. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant. And I think Declan Rice is trying to almost mould himself into a 6 and an 8. When you've got somebody like Souček around who's got the capabilities of slotting in, as you quite rightly say, because he's big and he can tackle. So when Rice does progress, then Souček slots in. That's where Fred and McTominay are pretty poor at working together. They don't work together in tandem at all. But I think Rice is probably, I'm not saying natural ability, because he's really had to work at his game, Rice has. He was poor last season, the season before, but he's really worked at his game and it's come on. And I think he's probably our best fit right now, unless we decided to get someone like Kessie. Yeah. Or
I think. Well, a name that people haven't said yet in this comment, and someone that I really would love us to go and get is Ruben Neves.
You said Phil Jones. Oh, thank God for that.
Ruben Neves. I mean, Phil Jones is the obvious one. That's if we're trying to save pennies.
Oh my God!
Tweet me now. Tweet me now. Hashtag Phil Jones in the 6. Make sure you tweet me. But Ruben Neves, why is he out of the discussion?
I think it's an interesting one, because I personally think it's about perception. I think that players can play in a 6 position, can do the role of a 6, but if they don't fit what people in their brain have as this modern mold of a defensive midfielder, they don't always think. And when you say Ruben Neves, and I'm probably guilty of it as well, the first thing that comes to mind about Ruben Neves is the fact that he fucking scores from 35 yards after an unmarked corner every time against us. And I always think that, for me, he always strikes me more, again, as an 8, but he probably isn't really a progressive ball carrier. Like, you don't really see, like, well, again, I don't watch Wolves week in, week out or anything, so I don't want to say anything. And, if I'm wrong, correct me. But I don't see him taking that ball and progressing. Martino used to do a bit more of that. So he probably is in the conversation, and he probably would be very cheap. He's entering the final stages of his contract, isn't he? And to be fair, even if we signed him and stuck him on the fucking bench, at least he won't be scoring 35-yard screamers against us every time we leave him unmarked after a corner.
He's kind of fallen under the radar a bit, hasn't he, Neves? And I think
I don't get it. I love the guy.
He's a good player. He's a solid player. But the thing about a good number 6 is, a good solid 6 is they make headlines for the right reasons, and that is they break up the play. That's it. That's what they do. That's all Conte does. Mm-hmm. That's all Ndidi does. That's all Basuma does. Although Basuma's quite progressive, isn't he? I think he was quite progressive yesterday. I thought he was excellent, by the way, yesterday at Anfield. Fucking man, he was really good. And Rice has got the ability to do too. The thing is,
banging shot here. Sorry, Stu, to interrupt you. Banging shot here from Jarvis Cocker. Sander Berge, what a guy! But he's from the Championship. That's the only issue. If we went and signed him, everyone would go, "Why would we shop him in the Championship?" But that guy's a ball.
If you've not seen him, absolutely, he is brilliant. Have you not seen him, Jamie?
No, I saw bits of him as Sheffield United crumbled in the Premier League and dropped into the Championship.
He's been instrumental this year for them.
He's brilliant.
But again, and I get that there are good picks, and I'm not a Championship snob at all, because I do really like the Championship as a league. But when we're struggling, when we're in this position where we don't know whether our manager's going to last another week or not, week in, week out, do we really want to be bringing in Championship centre midfielders?
Like, the interesting thing is, it's a good point, actually. But the interesting thing is, look at Arsenal's upturning form since Ramsdale's been between the sticks. Now, last season in the Premier League, he was awful for Sheffield United, absolutely terrible. But the upturn in Arsenal's fortune since they've had a safe pair of hands between the posts just goes to show that if you've got that ability and that belief in yourself, then you can make it in the game. But that Sander Berge this season has been fucking brilliant.
I think another good example of a player that struggled in a worse side and is now doing all right. Look at Dan Juma.
Yeah. But don't forget, Jamie, he's 6 months older and 6 months more experienced. So it does. I know it sounds a bit stupid, but it does help with development.
My thing is, and the fear I always have with us, taking a punt on players. If you look what happened with Dan James, like I always rated Dan James really a squad player. But look at how they get hounded out because, we have a toxic fan base on social media. People expect instant results. You're playing for, arguably the biggest club in the world. You don't get that time to adjust and to settle. People are slating Sancho. The guy's come in from the Bundesliga and he's still finding his feet. He doesn't know where to best play him. And for me as well, the difference between we're talking about, go on, Karthik, what are you trying to get in there?
I'm convinced that we only sold him to free up a shirt number.
Yeah, to be fair. And to make the first profit that we've made on a player post-Ferguson.
I don't think Ole actually wants to sell him. I think we've just gone, fuck it, we need to give Cavani 21. Off you go, Dan. But don't tell anyone that.
Who knows?
I always think as well.
Won't surprise me.
You look at Ramsdale and stuff like that, like you say in there, Stu. He was terrible last year, but I'd be interested to look at statistics of the quality of shot that he faced when he was at Sheffield United versus what he's conceding at Arsenal at the minute, because they've got a more compact defence than Sheffield United. As soon as Dean Henderson came back to us, they just capitulated defensively.
So, but you're right there. I raised a point actually the other day, and it was just a point. It's just something I've been thinking about, and I wasn't sure whether to bring it up, but I did. And I brought up about our defence this season particularly, as opposed to last season. And I just referenced, although De Gea has been absolutely brilliant for us this season so far. What I was trying to find trying to answer the question: what was the difference between Lindelof and Maguire last season to Lindelof and Maguire this season? And I wondered whether it was De Gea. Now, it's a difficult one to pinpoint because he's been absolutely fucking brilliant for us. But there was this continuity and this communication that really worked between Henderson and Maguire and Lindelof, and Maguire and Varane. It would work there as well. And that's just something I raised. I've got nothing to back it up. No stats whatsoever. I've got absolutely nothing to back it up. But I just thought it was worth raising. Not tonight, specifically for conversation, but I just thought it was worth raising because
definitely.
I couldn't work out why this collapse has happened, where this collapse had come from, when you actually think about from the end of the season through the Euros to when it actually came back, it was only really two weeks of non-competitive football for these guys. And I just couldn't work it out. So it's just something I floated. We didn't really have a conversation about it, and I don't know if there's a conversation to be had, but because you can't argue with De Gea this season, can you? But
no.
Well, I think the way, if I'm understanding what you're talking about, I think just the way Henderson was playing is what helped him out, right? He was coming off his line and he was taking off, right? Like some of the pressure that they were probably facing, because De Gea is going to make one of those saves one-on-one or that type of stuff, but. We all know De Gea doesn't come off his line, and he has been amazing this season. So I get what you're saying.
It's just something to bring up, raise. Maybe it's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Just to sort of bring it back to about holding midfielder. Oh, sorry.
Here we go.
No, I was just filling in a gap. Go on.
Just going back to Sander Berg and stuff like that and things like that. Again, just go back to the perception thing. For me, again, a quality six has to bring a bit of composure and a bit of relaxation to the people that they play around. And again, for me, if we bring in somebody from a team that, and I know relegations with a team do not count for everything before anyone shoots me. We look at Robertson was relegated with Hull in the same team that Harry Maguire was relegated with, etc., etc. But would he then turn around and if we brought him in as our six, with the players around him go, this is the guy that's really going to provide that composure and is going to settle us down? Because the players will have the perception as well. They might see him in training and think, yeah, he's decent and stuff. But whereas bringing in players like Declan Rice, like Frank Kessie and people like, Wilfred and Dean, I swear to God, I'm going to just notice what you're doing. This is why I don't answer your WhatsApp messages, Karthik.
Jacob's just had enough of me.
Yeah. But
that's a good point. It's a good point. Player perception. It happens all the time. Some brilliant centre halves in the Premier League, but they go under the radar because they're not fashionable. Lewis Dunk's one. He's not fashionable, is he? He's not a fashionable centre half. He's a brilliant centre half. Yeah.
I will say, in terms of what Jamie's saying, I understand what you're saying, but I would kind of personally, just because that's how I think in terms of like defense and center back and stuff, I wouldn't mind somebody who's just that guy who's going to break shit up, who's going to be that nasty player. I get what you're saying about the composure, but I feel like we have players in the squad who can bring that composure, even with somebody like that back there. So I wouldn't mind somebody who's just a bulldog in the number 6.
Oh, I'd love a bulldog in number 6.
So would I.
Yeah. Bloody hell, Jacob apparently has
Do you
been
fancy
ill.
Gunnar?
That's why he's moody. I thought Jacob was moody all the time. In the comments, I thought he was moody all the time. No, I've never seen you smile either, Jacob. No.
It's hard to see someone smile over comments.
Well, no, that's true. Yeah, but you can normally tell. You can see a smile in text, can't you?
I can't, but whatever you're drinking's doing the job.
Stu, I'm smoking and I can't see the smile in text. I mean,
Fucking good stuff, this is, I tell you.
If you're still watching, everyone, congratulations. You've reached the 45-minute mark, which means we're now in free-for-all territory of All for United Uncut.
Yes.
So now we can talk about whatever the fuck we want, and Ben can't shout.
So I want to know. I want to know about Jamie's. I want to know about Jamie's costume last night. and I think he was dressing up as a bird, weren't you, or something?
Yeah, it's on my Twitter.
What type
Is
was
it?
it? Raven, crow, magpie.
Very funny. It's it's on my Twitter. I went as Princess Diana. Obviously, treat there.
Try and get it up, Karthik. Put it on the screen.
Where is it? Is it on your Instagram?
It's on my Twitter.
Oh, your Twitter. I was going to say, I don't follow you on Instagram. Let's have a look.
Did you follow him on Twitter?
I don't think I do, to be honest. No,
Follow me on Twitter for ages.
Keep talking. I'll find something.
You started following me on Twitter. I mean, on that podcast about 18 months ago.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, never mind.
yeah. Yeah, it was a little dress up night at the SU, and it was one of those things where
Oh, wonderful.
every year for Halloween I like to take the piss with my costume. Like I don't dress as something spooky or you always see like the lads that take themselves a bit too seriously. The lads that you'll find in Tiger somewhere splitting a bottle of Grey Goose, and they'll always wear their regular clothes, but they'll just put them contact lenses in and maybe a bit of I'm not into that either. So every year I just try. But you've got to show the reference. You've got to show the reference picture as well.
I love the shades.
No, I don't.
The shades are brilliant.
So that's the reference picture. I think I did quite well.
Those shades are brilliant. Did you shave your legs for it?
No, I don't even shave my tash for it.
Well, that's true. You don't need
I've never seen you
to.
shave that thing.
Well, it's got to come off. It's got to come off tonight because it's November tomorrow.
It has, yeah. It's got to come off. Yeah.
You're not invited on a show for the rest of the month.
no.
That's fine, mate. I don't come on your shows anyway.
No. What you want to do? It'll be absolutely brilliant when it goes. Get him on the show get him on the show tomorrow, clean shaven, and then let's count the days to see when we actually get some kind of growth on it. So how long it takes. Brilliant.
It comes back quickly.
Does it come back really quickly and then stop?
Yeah, literally.
Evidently, yeah.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? I can't fucking remember.
Ugly Bear,
Back
stop
in
this
my head
question.
now.
What?
Ashley Young in terms of all-time great players.
Fucking Ric Flair.
You're pretty on board.
What a random fucking question.
You're on board.
Nah, he put this on Twitter.
Jarvis. Quality, mate. Quality.
Fantastic.
What
Yeah,
a
to be
grand-
fair.
Ashley Young
Where's
in
Ashley
first
Young?
top 25 Sir Alex Ferguson signings. Behave yourself. Behave yourself, ugly bear. Come on now.
This stumped me on Twitter, I'm not going to lie.
Top 25. Wait, right, let me think. Ashley Young.
No, I can't put him in the top. I'd top 50 maybe, but I couldn't put him in the top 25, I don't think.
Well, you guys think I'm a great.
Not in the top 50, though. We got 2 good seasons out of him. He's not in the top 50 United signings, is he?
No,
He's below Anderson.
He's talking about, isn't he?
He's below
Well,
Anderson.
Anderson's got 5. Anderson's got 5
Twice.
medals, hasn't he? What about Gabriel Oberton? Do you think he's below him, or do you think he's above him?
No, he's above him. He's above Obertan.
I saw a brilliant question on Twitter the other day because it was Van der Sar's birthday, wasn't it, a couple of days ago? And the question was, who is the best keeper, Schmeichel or Van der Sar, and it was really
Van der Sar.
and for me, it's a no-brainer. It's Schmeichel.
Van der Sar, because he didn't join City.
Schmeichel's a snake.
Yeah, I know you're going to.
Van der Sar, because he didn't join City.
Move that aside, that he went to City and Villa and that. But I think Schmeichel was the better keeper.
Van der Sar.
I thought he was absolutely brilliant. I did, absolutely brilliant. But no, I think it's so split, that is, because you're talking two amazing keepers, aren't you?
But neither of them were fit enough to lace Massimo Taibbi's boots. So
Man of the match at Anfield.
to be fair, I didn't know that.
Wasn't he man of the match at Southampton? Oh no, he wasn't, was he? Southampton way made me running. Fucking hell.
Yeah. So I'm just looking through these.
Actually, it was 14th in the all-time Premier League assists.
He did, Lakesh. He did. Is he really 14th?
Hey,
14th in the all-time Premier. Hang on, let me check.
I'm not saying Ugly Bear wasn't making good arguments. I just couldn't see past the point that he was trying to make. He brought this all up.
Is he right on that?
Premier League all-time assists. Let's have a
See
look.
Brown Knight. Is he gonna get? Is it really? Is he?
That sounds like one of those stats that sounds fake, but is actually true.
Let's
Yeah.
have a
The
look.
fact that Marcus
Hang on a
Rocco
minute.
never got a red card when he played for United sounds
I
like
know.
shit, but obviously.
Yeah.
Right, I've only got the top 10 here. Hang on.
Well, it's all right. Just type in top 14, mate.
I'm going to do that. Jesus
Try
Christ.
top 20.
I need a fucking.
So there's one thing I got. Your Tyrone's right. We tried to get Van der Sar, didn't we? Straight when Schmeichel left, we tried everything. We couldn't get him out of Milan. Was he at Milan? He was in Italy. Was it Juventus? He was in Italy, wasn't he? We couldn't get him out of Italy, could we? Juventus.
Oh my God, he's
Jamie,
right.
you're right.
Ashley
You're
Young
right.
is 14th.
Really?
Fucking hell.
Have a guess how many assists he's got.
It was like
102.
14. He's got
It's less than 100.
80.
99.
89.
He's got
98.
69.
Shut the fuck
Hey.
up.
He's got more
Is he
assists
really?
than
You
Christian
Jacob,
Eriksen.
that's it.
He's got more assists than Christian Eriksen, Eric Cantona, Damien Duff, Paul Scholes. He's got more assists than Theo Walcott, Juan Mata, Mesut Ozil, Didier Drogba, Eden Hazard, Leighton Baines. Fuck me.
Yeah, to be
They
fair, though,
also played in the Premier League for 35 years. That was something stupid.
to be fair, the Scholes assists weren't on his radar, were they? He wasn't interested in assists. He'd tell you himself. It didn't bother him.
No, but Mesut Ozil's a surprising one.
Who's got the most assists then?
Yeah, it was number
That's
one.
Giggsy.
Gigs, yeah.
Giggsy 162, and then Fabregas 111, and then the GOAT on 103, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Not that I care about assists because it's. I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Assists weren't anything in the 80s. Nobody cared what an assist was.
I mean, an assist was something. They just didn't care what it was.
It was set up by someone. That's what other commentators said. Set up by whoever. But it was interesting. But yeah.
Half of his assists were scored by Fellaini.
That was
Probably,
funny.
to be fair. To be fair, probably.
I miss Fellaini, me.
So do I, to be honest. He was just a vibes player, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Nobody chessed the ball like Fellaini. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody did it
Literally.
before. Nobody's done it since.
Secret weapon.
He used to stick to his chest, didn't it? Unbelievable, that guy. He could chest it anywhere. Absolutely anywhere. I mean, he was brilliant for Everton, wasn't he? He was an absolute animal for Everton.
He was a
Never
very
really
different
quite-
player for Everton.
Yeah, and he was a different. Yeah, I was about to say that. Never worked for us
Play him as a
because he
centre forward.
tried to change his game, didn't he? And I know Van Gaal got a rose window out of him for about 4 games, didn't he? He managed to spot a pocket. This pocket Fellaini gets into. Van Gaal spotted that and he chested it down or whatever, And then that was it. People like,
How long was he at the club? Because it felt like about 10 years.
Not this.
He was at the club for 3 years.
3 years.
It was not 3
yeah.
years. It was not 3
It
years.
wasn't long.
Joined us in 2013.
It was
left
3.
under Mourinho.
Yeah, it was 3 years.
Maybe 3.5 at a push. I can't remember whether we left in January or summer.
It wasn't 3.5. 2013, and he left in the January of 19. No, he left when Ollie came in.
No, he didn't.
Did he?
He left when
Well,
Ollie came in.
Mourinho.
2019 January when
No
Ollie,
way.
when Mourinho got
fuck it.
sacked.
Oh, never mind then. I'm chatting shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
no, because
I thought we left under Mourinho.
I thought he left.
No, it was after Mourinho got sacked.
5 years.
Ole sold him in that January.
5 years. Fucking
He was
hell.
the first. It was Ole's first sale.
I feel like Mark was fucking with us.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I was excited when he
genuinely,
signed.
right? Ole comes in when? December. Ole comes in December. Fellaini left in January.
I was really excited when he signed. Well, because Moyes bought him, didn't he?
We were linked to Fabregas, Stu. We were linked to Fabregas.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're never
going
to. Fabregas was never coming to us. Never in a million years.
Fun fact. I met David Moyes once at uni, and I spoke to him and I asked him about that, and he said we had a look at Toni Kroos, we looked at Thiago, and we looked at Fabregas, and out of them three, he thought Thiago wasn't good enough. Okay,
right.
At the time, he wasn't. I mean, at the time, he was probably the best of the three. And then Fabregas was the one that he really wanted, but it just didn't happen. And he said he had that helicopter ready for Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
And I was like, right then, sound.
What about though if we got Kroos? Fucking hell! Just imagine if we got Toni Kroos, man. What a player! What a player! I mean,
he is too.
I mean, people talk about Zidane, and they want Zidane for manager because of his record of winning 3 consecutive Champions League. But when you've got Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric in your midfield,
I could win the Champions League with them.
I could have won the Champions League,
and I'm bottom of the league.
Benzema up front, you know. I think it was Ronaldo there. Ronaldo was there for one of them, wasn't he? Very well. Yeah, you know. So it was. Yeah, I think Kroos is just brilliant. I mean, he is ultra consistent. He just always has a 8. He's just such a fun fact about Toni Kroos as well. Fun fact about Toni Kroos: his footy boots, the Adipure 11s, right? He's the only player that wears the Adipure 11s still. Adidas make them specially for him
because they don't make them anymore. So do
they make them anymore now? Is it? Yeah. Just a fun fact for you guys.
Yeah. No, yeah. Honestly, I don't know why, but I mean, I feel like you guys would agree. I love players who just make like sometimes it looks like it's just too easy for him. You know what I mean? Like he just does it so calmly.
He is just
composure players, like literally the ones that slow the game around. Like
I love it.
They're just the best players to watch. Like they just find extra seconds where other players don't seem to have that time. Yeah,
there was a German player back in the. I know. There's a German player called Lothar Matthäus. Everybody knows him. He had similar traits. He was absolutely brilliant. Matthias Sammer was very, very good at Dortmund doing that drifting into games and drifting into spaces and scoring goals and that. The Germans have had a raft of players of that kind of ilk. We've always struggled with that in England. We've never really had that player. I mean, Scholes, you could argue. Or, you know, I mean, Scholes, I think, was probably the best midfielder of his generation when he was playing because he was absolutely brilliant. He could do stuff with the ball that others couldn't. And when you look at Zidane and Kroos, they all picked him as their all-round player, but he never glided across the pitch like Kroos does, or somebody like a Matthias or a Zammer and stuff like that. So for England, we've never really had that type of player.
Also, this is just me being fucking stupid, but like I guess I don't always pay attention to players' heights because, like, in football, there's a lot of it doesn't matter a lot in terms of heights. I did not know Scholes was that short.
Oh god, yeah, he's
fucking Jesus Christ. He's the same height as Conte.
It's quite convenient so he can reach the toes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
stop.
Nibble on them.
Bro, that was bad. That was other shit.
Oh god, get Brendan's comment off quick. Just a quick one to Tyrone. He's absolutely right. The greatest boots are the World Cups and the Copa Mundials.
Phil Jones is a composure player, by the way. He's a very, 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 very composed footballer. Phil Jones. Speaking of which, we have a movement here at All for United. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called #Phil Jones at the 6. After the show's done, make sure to tweet us at All for United and at Mr. Carter Sharma. It's on the screen for you. None of you tweet this, and yet you come in the comments and go, "Yeah, Phil Jones at the 6." Tweet me, you bastards. Phil Jones at the 6.
Because they don't want to be seen publicly backing this movement. That's why.
They do in the comments.
It's funny.
Jarvis has asked a question about.
Jarvis, has he asked a football question?
Yeah, he's asked a football question, yeah.
Oh,
Bloody hell, Jarvis.
What are we
Bloody hell,
talking
right.
about?
Can we go on a winning streak and challenge for the title? 3-4-2-1 away,
The title?
4-2-4 at home. For the
I don't know about
title?
that.
Yeah, of course we can, lad.
Stop that.
Is it? Because he is aware how poor we are at home, isn't he? Like,
We gotta. I'm going for Champions League right now.
We just got smacked 5-0 by Liverpool playing 4-2-4.
You know, what I would say to Jarvis is funny things have happened in football, haven't they?
Have they?
And there are times where it just clicks for whatever reason. There's no reason for it, and it just clicks.
Conte lost to Arsenal and then switched to the back three, and then he just went on that run.
And then he just ran right, didn't he? Tuchel's had his.
Conte is the answer.
No, what I'm saying is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to go on a winning streak and win the league, mate.
There's nothing to stop us doing it. There's nothing to suggest we will, but there's nothing. Hey, Brendan, I like Phil Jones. I like Phil Jones.
Tweet hashtag Phil Jones the sixth then, Stu. Should prove it.
I did once, twice.
It's not once. Once doesn't make you part of this movement, Stu.
Look, there's something about Phil Jones. I feel you should never feel sorry for a multimillionaire footballer. But I do feel if you've listened to Phil Jones or read his article, it was quite heartbreaking what he's actually gone through and how he thinks he's perceived as a human being, not just a footballer. And I think what he fails to realise is that we may have a bit of a laugh and a joke with him, but the fans would get behind him if he ever did pull on the red shirt and step out at Old Trafford. Because there's one thing Phil Jones did: he always gave his all.
I was about to say
his all.
That famous little shit where he dived with his head on the floor. You know what he'll do.
If John Terry did that, you'd all be piping him off.
I want to say sometimes I think I was muted in my reactions last night in the post game. Y'all be saying some sus shit on this channel sometimes.
What'd you mean?
I don't know. I forgot who said it last night. Someone was talking about Liverpool pumped 5 past us. I was like, what the fuck are we talking about right now, man? I was muted, so I couldn't react, but that shit had me die.
I mean, they did pump 5 past us, to be fair.
I know, but you could use a better word.
I could feel it watching it.
Hey.
Could have been 10. That's if they hadn't gone easy on us.
Well, we were wide enough. Anyway.
So it's one of those. But, I know he's off. I'm just trying to ignore him. I think Jamie switched off there, didn't you? And you did the right thing there, pal, switching off.
Yeah.
No, he was busy tweeting hashtag Phil Jones the sixth, which is what you guys watching should do right now. At Off United, hashtag Phil Jones the sixth. Thank you very much. Right, anyway. Speaking of composed players, Stu, have you been playing any football?
I played tonight. I played on Monday night, actually, and got man of the match. So I was quite happy about that. 6 goals for me. Thank you. So I was quite chuffed about that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Who the fuck was
No. On a Monday night, we play something called Dads v Dads. And basically, what it is a website, and it's a national thing. And so you go on your website and you book your days that you want to play, etc. Pay your money. It's brilliant, actually, because you go there. You don't have to worry about it. And there's a mixture of age groups. So anything from 20-year-olds to 60-year-old players. And, of course, I'm always on the old fogies team for whatever reason, which is a bit unfair, really, because I'm obviously only about 36. And so because it's a mixture, it's quite good. So it's 6-a-side on like an outdoor cage. And I just had one of those games where I popped in 6. I'm not really a goal scorer, to be honest, but couple with the right, couple with the left.
I will say, Stu, last week was the last week of the little mini tournament thing I was doing. I got fucking worked. It was the semifinals and finals night just to see who would win it. Jesus Christ. We were the 4th seed, went against the number 1 seed who hadn't lost the whole, I think it was 8 weeks. It was a short little tournament. Fuck, bro. They had this 6'4" dude as striker, and I tried to man mark him the whole time. I got shit on. Not gonna lie.
You should have. I have a rule when I'm playing somebody who's a bit taller than me. My rule is I forget to play football and I just kick the fuck out of him. And because all you got to do, as soon as he gets the ball, just hit him hard. And he'll get that angry, he'll get that aggressive, he'll start fighting you and get game over. He's done. he's finished. Game over.
I tried. I cleated. I'm not going to even bullshit it. It wasn't on purpose, but I did cleat the shit out of him. And when like the first 5 minutes, he was fine. He went up and walked for like 5 minutes, came back on and kept doing his shit. I was like, God damn, man. Shit.
You got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You got to keep doing it all game. Don't let him off. Yeah. And then get in his ear, keep doing it. But I played tonight and we got beat 3-0. So mixed match this week. I'm back up I'm back up tomorrow night. I know, and then I'm playing Wednesday this week as well. So I've got tomorrow, Wednesday, and Sunday. And then
disappointing 3-0 defeat.
And then I'll
not good enough, Stu. Not good enough. That's coming from me.
Well, I know that's coming from you, who lost 9-0 the other week. Carthic,
yeah, exactly.
Carthic out.
I lost another player. I lost another player this week, by the way. He's just decided to quit the team. So
well, I'm not surprised.
I've got a squad of 10.
I think it's managerial.
I've got a squad of 10 now. And
I think you don't have to step on.
He's down.
He's a bit old for that because you're under 18s, aren't you? Crikey! Did you play today?
No, I've not had a week. I've not had a game in 2 weeks.
Oh shit!
So
I find it mad.
Training Wednesday and then Sunday.
So mad that you manage Poynton. My ex was from Poynton, and it's just such a small world. Like to think that some guy that I met through a bird app manages a football team in the area that I spent 3 years visiting someone.
Do you play, Jamie?
I used to, but I started smoking and started drinking and started doing other things instead of playing football.
Oh, wait, smoking what?
Yeah,
cigarettes.
Oh, right. I was going to say, because you can still smoke weed and play. I had to smoke. I smoked every time before I played. It helps. I'm not going to lie.
Smoke weed. Are you going to get back to it, Jamie, or not?
Maybe at some point. I always say this about anything to do with self-improvement. I'll be like, yeah, maybe in the near future. And then
if you want, mate, we've got a first team that could do with you.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm 180 miles away or whatever it is, might prove a bit difficult.
Doesn't matter.
Listen, I always try to talk about that. Y'all complain about driving. Are you kidding me? What's coast to coast in England?
It's enough.
East Coast to West Coast.
Yeah, we know America's big.
It's enough.
Listen, I drove 6 hours and I only got through like 5 states. All right, it was the shit. It's ridiculous in the States.
We can get to one. No, I think it's about it's about 12 hours, isn't it? Drive from top to bottom of our country, I guess. Something like that.
Probably a little bit more than that.
It's about 7 hours from my house to Cornwall. I know that.
Where are you?
Times. Well, no, from my parents' house in Withenshaw.
Yeah, okay.
About 7 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, we know it's like state to state. My auntie and cousins and that wind me up about it all the time. We have to fly to get across our country.
Yeah, no shit. What? Yeah, that's not even. You couldn't even drive across the country in 24 hours. You could go straight, no stops. It still wouldn't be 24 hours.
Isn't the Mojave Desert 24 hours?
Shit. Fuck it.
Mojave Desert.
Actually, I do. With my job, I got to figure out how I can go to Vegas on a cheap. Because we got shit. Sorry, we work for my job we do casinos for Nevada, Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Sure, you're going to Vegas
Colorado.
For a job. Yeah, okay.
I thought you could fly anywhere in the States for about $30 on somewhere like Southwest or whatever they were called. Those,
Depends on how much you want to risk your life.
Oh, really?
They got some. I don't know if it's $30 for Southwest, but if you're talking $30, they do got some airlines, but there's some sketchy ass airlines. That you better make sure they got some flotation devices underneath the seats just in case.
Flotation device.
Really? They're that bad?
Some shit starts shaking, and you're looking out the window, and the engine's moving, and you're like, "That's not supposed to be moving. That should be something that's stable on the plane, not shaking."
Why?
It might get you there, but you'll be shitting your pants the whole time.
I didn't know that. Or don't you get on the Amtrak or the Greyhound, don't you?
Fuck the Greyhound, but I will take the Amtrak.
What's wrong with the Greyhound?
Oh,
is it torture?
I have no idea what these two
are. It's a bus. So Greyhound is.
Ground's a bus.
Yeah, it's like a long distance.
The only Greyhound I know is the one that races.
Yeah, and Amtrak's the train. Amtrak's a train.
Amtrak, it's a nice if you can, I think they even have like sleeper carts. So like if you're going, 12 hours somewhere on a train, you can rent a cart that has a bed or some shit. But yeah, don't do Greyhound.
I've never done
Jarvis
the ground.
says, I've had the same footballing path as Stu. Ended my career playing six-a-side. Won the county championship 7 times in a row.
Oh shit!
Fucking hell. Might as well be set. No man. Experience is everything playing six-a-side. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. It's know how you don't have to run. I just walk everywhere on a Monday night. I just walk around. I don't run. No need to run. No need to run. Just get the ball, get it off, gone. Next. That's all you do. I'm letting you. Hey, look at 51, right? You have to walk because if you start running, that's it. You peak too early and you're done.
Stu, I was a center back and an offensive lineman. All I did was walk. If there was somebody attacking me, why am I running? I'm not doing that.
That's right. Look, one of the best, greatest exponents of not running anywhere was Jan Molby, and he was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant footballer, Jan Molby.
It's purposeful running. I'm not sprinting for 90 minutes or some shit. That's not. Nobody can do that unless you're like Ronaldo or some shit.
Yeah. Well, Ronaldo doesn't sprint that much, does he?
Yeah.
Jeez, look at Berbatov. Man played in his slippers and was silky as fuck.
He's unbelievable.
We had
Berbatov. Yeah, we had Berbatov playing in his slippers for us, and we used to have Lukaku playing in his Timberlands. 6-1/2.
I have some friends who are Chelsea fans over here. Holy shit, they were all hyped for Lukaku. I was like, just wait. You'll start seeing some shit. You're not going to be hyped anymore.
Well, he's mentally knackered now, isn't he? I think he's mentally tired. Then we had Louis Saha. He was a mixture of the both, wasn't he? He was that unpredictable. On his day, unbelievable player. But sometimes, he'd be falling over the ball, trading on it.
I still can't get over that time with Lukaku. He really did trip. Like he really tripped over the ball. I think he was straight away, and I was like, "Come on, man!"
There's a fun pub quiz question here. The only player to ever play in a London derby, Merseyside derby, Time-Wear derby, and a Manchester derby is Louis Saha.
Oh, he is. Fucking hell, he is.
The only football player to do that, to do those 4 derbies.
He played for United, Everton, Newcastle,
Sunderland.
Fulham. Oh, was it Sunderland? I thought it was Newcastle. It's Sunderland.
No, it's Sunderland.
But yeah, so there you go. So if that question ever comes up, who is the only player in Premier League history to play in the Time-Wear derby, a London derby, Merseyside derby, and Manchester derby?
I've got that imprinted on my brain.
Where the fuck is that question going to come up?
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, Hammer.
It might come up next week. It might come up next week.
There's always daft ones. The first ever Premier League hat trick. Who scored the first hat trick of the Premier League era?
This definitely doesn't happen in the States. I don't know what you're talking about.
First
I don't know. Who was it?
It was Eric Cantona when he was playing for Leeds.
Oh shit!
Oh yes.
Because Brian Dean scored the very first goal, didn't he? Brian Dean scored the very first goal. Teddy Sheringham scored the first live televised goal, didn't he, for Forest?
I've just had an amazing idea for
Sheringham, yeah.
We're going to do an uncut quiz.
We should do that. We should do an uncut quiz. We should, for a bit of fun. Everybody gets the quiz questions in. Yeah. Everybody gets. That'd be a really good idea, that would. Yeah.
We should have a section about All for United as well.
I will not be on that show because my memory is so shit between concussions and weed. I don't remember anything. So honestly, listen, I've had double-digit concussions. All right, that's a problem. That's shit.
I think you played American football though. I mean, that is just a concussion.
I played American football. Like I used to play pickup games with no pads. You might need to send that to people.
Brendan, well done.
Yeah.
Send that over to Stu. I'll let him be quizmaster.
No, but yeah, I used to play
wine glass.
Pick up American football with no pads too, and we would go as full speed, just like we would go with the pads. Bro, there was one time this dude who was like, so when I played American football, I was 5'9", 215. Right, I was an offensive lineman, and this dude was about my size. He ran it the drive before and scored because nobody wanted to tackle him. He was running full speed. And then he did it again the second drive, and I was like, all right, now you're not scoring because that's bullshit. So I ran full speed, and we both ran full speed and went head first. I got knocked out for like 4 or 5 seconds. He bit through his bottom lip and had to go get stitches. Like when I say bit through his bottom lip, like it was
really
hanging,
did it. Yeah.
and he had to go like get stitches at the hospital. That was a shit show.
And on that lovely note, I'm gonna wrap up the show. Cheers for watching, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Off United Uncut. Just quickly, no, we will not have an Ashley Young special show. Make sure before you go and do your thing, please like the video and subscribe, give it a share as well.
On what?
On Twitter and all sorts. My voice will catch up. Don't worry, I'll keep talking. Make sure you do all that, and of course, please do not forget. Hashtag Phil Jones 6. Tweet us on at All for United and at Mr. Cartsham. We want to make this happen. If Ollie wants to keep his job, he has to do it. In summary, let's all just relax a little bit. Ollie, the Great Escape, we called it. Is it on? Is it not? We don't know.
No.
Probably not. But I suppose time will tell. Time will tell, and if it's on, then hey, we might go and win something. We probably won't win the Premier League. Probably not. Not the league. What could we win? Oh, you know, a famous man once said, "We're going to win the Champions League."